We have some breaking news in the South African farming crisis. South Africa has announced that it will withdraw a land expropriation bill that was passed in 2016. This is the bill that was going to take land from white farmers and expropriate it without constitutional compensation, because they wanted to change their constitution so there would be no compensation for the land, basically just steal and give them nothing for it. And if you already don't know, South Africa is a mostly black country, I believe, but the farmers, it's mostly white. It's like 70 some percent, even though whites make up, I think, like 7% of the population roughly. They own 70% of the farming land, and the black majority wants to take it back, so they feel like the blacks were oppressed, therefore they are justified in taking it back. This is basically what the government was trying to do, and it has been stopped.
Yeah, so I was reading up a little bit more about this, and I remember last time we spoke on this, there was a guy who was going to have his land basically stolen through their version of eminent domain, where his land was worth, I think it was $20 million or something. They're only going to give him 1 million, or it was like worth 10. It was like my bad, that was rand. It was worth $1 million, but it was worth $10 million, valued at 10 million, and it was only going to be given for 1 million to him after they stole it, after they seized it. And basically, the guy Johann Steenkamp, he recently, I was reading a Daily Mail article, and they actually stopped. They're not going to be taking his land as of yet. I hear the thing's still tied up in courts, and this was he had like $35,000 spent in legal fees trying to go and save his farm from being stolen. And I'm actually not sure if this was like so much a farm. Like I think it may have been a farm, but I know there was like some sort of hunting grounds. It was something like that, like a wildlife refuge. There was some sort of, either way, it was like an agricultural sort of area. And I'm glad to see that his land is safe for now. But Trump and people on the right, and really anybody who has any sort of sense of human decency, needs to go and keep up the pressure on these guys. Like you still see the stompings from the heads of the ANC. Like I believe there's a couple people like who is that guy? The guy who's in charge of the EFF. He's not too happy about this. He's calling Trump racist and all this other garbage, and saying it perpetuates like an
Racism.
apartheid sort of issue, which it's really not. Like if anything, apartheid has gone full circle, and they're starting to go and enforce it against whites. They already have it too. It's like just because they have the farmlands doesn't mean that it's all well and good in South Africa. They still have the racist black economic empowerment laws in place, which effectively prevents many white people from getting jobs, because like only 8% of people in a company that has any ties to government can be white. That's really bad, like affirmative action, and that's why there's so much farmers. One of the reasons, other, is through just their heritage. Like the Boer people, that's like kind of an ethnicity. That Boer means farmer, Boer means farmer in Dutch or Afrikaans. Not really. I'm not a linguist. I'm not really sure the exact which one it means that, and it might be both. I don't know. It's a really weird language, but yeah, so it's interesting how they stopped at least the farms attacks, or not the farm attacks, the farm seizures. The farm attacks are still going on, to my
Yep.
knowledge. It haven't stopped because those weren't technically, 100% like sponsored by the government. Although there's like claims that the police officers over there are so corrupt that they're they either cover it up or they are active participants. Like you'll see guys with like radar jammers coming to houses. They'll have like military weapons that they somehow got. It's just like a really crazy situation, and the farm seizures through the courts is just one tiny part of this issue. There's plenty of other ones, and yeah, people are being cast off to these farms because that's like, and farms one of the only jobs that like you really can't, say white people can't do that unless you just like stop them from buying land, and they're trying to go do that. They already have these basically like this areas where like white people can't own land, it's only blacks, and they've had this for a while. It's like a tribal land or something. They have a fancy name for it, but it's kind of like the situation that Americans have with the Native Americans. But I believe a lot more of the country is dedicated to this land. So yeah, that's some of the really crazy stuff you got going on there. But yeah, definitely keep looking at South Africa. I hope Trump doesn't stop looking at them. There's a lot of issues going on that are still going to go on and will probably go on for the foreseeable future. Keep up the pressure. We need to get these like racists out of power because they will try to go and commit genocide if given the opportunity to. Like it's already on like stage 5 or 6.
Well, remember the one guy said, we're not gonna. I think what did he say? We're not gonna kill all the whites yet, or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It was Julius Malema.
Malema, yeah.
Yeah, like that guy. I think we have to do a video on him because he's like a really
Oh,
crazy guy, and his party is like they've done like racist, like they've done like riots, like tons of riots. They like rioted the H&M stores because of that whole like monkey shirt thing, which I think the person who made that was black, so I don't really see how that was a race thing. But and it's like every day they have riots in South Africa. It's a really terrible country.
yeah, it's
I
a
feel really
shithole.
bad. I feel really bad for the people who live there. You know, it's like they didn't choose this. A lot of them thought that once they elected Nelson Mandela, everything was going to be good and there'll be racial harmony. But as you can see right now, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Like you can see the white flight from that country, and it's not just because everyone was racist. I'm sure some of the racists did leave, but there's a lot of like real dangers out in the country. Like if you're a white person or a white farmer, especially.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I like what's interesting though is that this happened right after that Trump tweet. I cannot think that's not coincidental. You know, it happened right after he sent that tweet out, which was a very innocuous tweet. It's just I'm gonna ask Pompeo to look into it. You know, might have been doing something behind the scenes. I don't know, but people are freaking out over nothing. I think over that.
Oh yeah, I mean Trump did the right thing. He stopped them from seizing land. Like I don't know how people can justify like especially like white American liberals. How can you justify that?
Well, they're
Like because
taking away
like
property rights.
would you be okay with like Native Americans stealing your land because someone like hundreds of
Yo.
years ago took it?
They
No.
no, they'd probably see. Here's the thing with the white liberals is that they'd probably these are the ones that like let those migrants into their homes to babysit their children in Germany and Sweden. You know, I think this is the BBC did video on that. Like I doubt they'd let this happen in their backyard in America, but I wouldn't put it past some of them. But if you truly are a liberal, a true liberal, you should be 100% against this government's policy because they're taking away the people's right to property. If the government can seize land and give it to somebody else, you do not own your property. You don't own it at all, and if you don't own your property, you really don't own yourself. I know that's going to
Oh,
sound funny, but you really don't have any ownership of anything.
oh, absolutely. But if the white liberals in America really did agree with us, they'd be giving up their property right now to Native Americans. I don't see Hillary Clinton giving up all her family's, property to, disadvantaged groups. I don't see Bernie Sanders doing it. I don't see,
Pocahontas,
yeah, I don't see
Elizabeth
anyone.
Warren.
Oh, well, she thinks that she's a Native American. She might be like 1/10 Native American.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I know people who've claimed that in the past, and sometimes that's a little bit funny. But either way, they can put their money where their mouth is, and
Yep.
they're not doing it. So obviously, it's okay when it's not in your backyard, but the second it happens to you, boom. But yeah, this is a good thing, and keep up the pressure. We might be able to go and help some of these people out.
Yes, stay subscribed to the channel, or if you haven't already, do subscribe. Don't unsubscribe. Like the video. Share it out with everybody you know, because we're one of the few people talking about this. Mainstream media is not talking about it, and the YouTube algorithms trying to censor us and shut us down. It's not a conspiracy. It happened to Alex Jones. It's happened to others. It's happened to even some more non-conspiratorial people. So if you want to see more content like this, subscribe, like, and share. It's the only way you're gonna get it out. It's the only way it's going to get to you, and it's going to get out to the people.